Shabbat Shalom. I heard there was a big scandal or complaints because the Pope did not speak in English. He's born in Chicago, the new Pope is born in Chicago, and he spoke in Italian and also in Spanish, and people were complaining that he didn't speak in English, and I don't understand why people will complain. Because when the Pope speaks, or when the clergy speaks, everybody is sleeping. So what does it matter? Which language the Pope was speaking in. Anyway, so congratulations on the new Pope, which I expected him to be Argentinian, but anyway, we cannot get the Powerball twice in a row. Anyway, let's start over. Shabbat Shalom. This story happens in a small town in Eastern Europe. A poor beggar once approached the home of an extremely wealthy but very stingy man. "Sir, I haven't had a morsel of food in more than 2 days." This poor man said, "Can you please give me something to eat? My home was not made for losers like yourself." This guy replied, "Why don't you go to the synagogue? There they will surely feed you." But the poor man pleaded, "Please, I beg you, I have no strength left. If I don't eat something now, I will die. Please give me any food that you may have in your home." So the rich man took from the garbage an old, rotten, and smelly piece of fish and gave it to the beggar, who ate it within a few seconds. As the poor man thanked his host and left the home, he collapsed in the street. They rushed him to the local hospital. That evening, after returning home from the evening services in the synagogue, the wealthy man informed his wife that he would be leaving and returning later that night. The poor man who attended our home suddenly fell ill, and he was taken into the hospital. I must go visit him and fulfill the great mitzvah of visiting the sick. Following morning, after returning home from the synagogue's morning prayers, the man told his wife, "I have a busy day today." In the synagogue, they announced that the poor beggar had died early this morning and that his funeral would take place at 2 p.m. So I must attend the funeral of this poor man and perform the extraordinary mitzvah of escorting the dead on their final journey. That evening, after returning home from synagogue, the wealthy man informed his wife once again that he would be out late. At the funeral, they announced that the deceased beggar was survived by a son, and he said to his wife, "I must go pay him a shiva call and perform the great mitzvah of comforting a person who is in mourning." When the wealthy man came back that night from the shiva call, his face was beaming with joy. His entire countenance radiated with happiness. He was so happy. The man was simply quelling, with happiness. "Why are you so happy?" "What about?" asked his wife. "Why are you so happy? What was so exciting about visiting an orphan sitting Shiva?" To which the wealthier miser replied, "How could I not be overjoyed when I think of how many tremendous mitzvot I perform with a merely one small stinky piece of fish? Think about it. With one slice of old and rotten fish, I achieved 4 of the most extraordinary mitzvot: hospitality to the poor, visiting the sick, escorting the dead, and comforting the mourning. Ah, how happy I am." Religion is like fire. It warms, but it also burns. The Torah tells us, "Kedoshim tiyu," and that's how the second parsha that we read today starts. It's a commandment. You shall be holy. Kedoshim tiyu. God commands us to be holy. What does it mean to be holy? It means that we are the guardians of the flame. Religion, explains Rabbi Yosef Yitzhak Jacobson, can be a crutch allowing us to remain stuck in our bubble, secure in the consistency of ritual, yet unready to challenge our core narcissism and listen deeply to another human being. Dogmatic ritual can give us the sense of security that we are good and holy, while we remain crude, vulgar, and delusional, never asking the ultimate godly question: what have I given up for someone else? Even our kindness can become superficial, false, and self-serving. We engage in kindness, in chesed, so that we can tell ourselves that we are good and that we will merit a seat in the world to come, that we will get a place in the Olam Haba. And perhaps we will, but that place in the world to come, in the Olam Haba, will smell as bad as that piece of fish. There is a concept in our tradition, it's called Naval Bereshut HaTorah, which can be translated as a degenerate with the permission of the Torah. Maimonides, Rambam, views the verse that calls us to be holy as a divine protest against the individual who may technically perform all the laws, all the mitzvot, all the rituals, but still remains obscene and vulgar. This person may have learned a lot of Torah, but the Torah has taught him or her nothing. His or her selfishness has never been refined. His bias and crudeness have never been challenged. God, for this individual, is an object for his or her own making, not an invitation to infinity, to mystery, to reflection and transcendence. Naval Bereshut HaTorah, a degenerate with the permission of the Torah. Nothing in the Torah forbids me to eat with my hands. Why do I need a fork and a knife? Is there any prohibition in the Torah about that? No. Nothing in the Torah forbids me from getting drunk. Why not, right? Why not every day and every meal? Is there any prohibition of that? No. But is it good? I don't think so. To be sure, self-deception is not the exclusive purview of religious people. All of us, regardless of our level of religiosity and observance, find it much easier to engage in a huge amount of self-deception to maintain our self-image as good people than to actually challenge our improper, more selfish instincts. Religious people are not the only ones who sometimes don't get it. All of us are in danger of becoming stuck in the swamp of our comfort zones, too lazy or scared to confront the real hard questions. A parallel would be Naval Bereshut HaChevra, a bastard with the permission of the society. That is for secular citizens who fulfill their civil obligations, pay their taxes on time, complain about what they see is wrong in the society, but when they hear the knock on their own doors, look on the other side. Secular people also need to ask the hard questions. Holiness, Kedoshim Tiyu, to be holy, means not being stuck in what I think is right, but asking myself if this is what I'm doing is right and consistent with my values and beliefs. Will I march for the rights of my nephew who is gay when his rights are being jeopardized? Will I want my granddaughter to have access to abortion when, God forbid, she's raped? Will I call police when I have 20 illegal immigrants encamping in front of my yard? Or will I open my refrigerator and shower for them to stay there as much as they can? And they won't. Will I continue supporting Israel regardless of who is in the government? Because there is no other Jewish state, and I know what the Jewish people endure without an independent state. To be holy means to ask these questions in front of a mirror and without a mask, without demanding from others to do exactly what I am not ready to do. If we are honest, whether we are religious or secular, we must ask why the ideals in which we believe can, in certain circumstances, do harm. Holiness is not believing what I'm doing is right, but constantly asking myself if what I am doing doesn't smell like fish. And if that is the case, holiness means that I have to reroute. Kedoshim to you, says the Torah. Let's embark in a way of holiness. Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach. Baruchim to you.